Okay, hello again. This is the Making Media Soundscape Planning and Ideas video. So hopefully you've watched the video about the assessment details. Now I'm going to talk you through separately actually what kind of ideas you might want to implement for this project. Give you a few examples that you can look at as well. So just as a very brief recap, we're asking you to create a soundscape 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes in length that doesn't just create kind of an environment or an atmosphere, but also has some kind of a sense of a story or some kind of movement to it with an opening and an ending. So I'm just going to talk you through some ideas we've kind of thrown out there. I mean, you can do absolutely anything you want. The sky's the limit with your imagination. It's about what you can create in sound or give a sense of sound of how you can tell a story in sound. But a few kind of things you could do. We want you to create a sense of narrative, so you could do absolutely anything. Like I said, your idea could be something like a break-in or a burglary. So how do you do that with sound? Well, you could do it with things like smashing glass, a lock being broken, doors being opened, things being put in bags, someone stressed, heavy breathing or making sounds. Is the burglar interrupted? Is there a confrontation? Does an alarm go off? So lots and lots of audio things you can associate with all sorts of different events. Does the thief get away? Is there a squealing of car wheels or something like that? Maybe your narrative is something about a group of teenagers decide to spend a night in a haunted house. How could you do that? So even though we're not asking you, don't want you to use dialogue, you could have excited muttering or or jumps or whispering or phone calls going off and making someone jump. Is there a ghost in the haunted house? Is someone playing a prank and jumping out and making people jump? So loads and loads, October's quite good because Halloween's coming up, so lots of ideas about, you could have a spooky haunted house or a mad scientist laboratory, somebody's doing an experiment and a monster's coming to life, kind of Frankenstein-esque. You might want to create the sense of a perfect English summer afternoon. Are there birds twittering? Is there a river there? Are there boats going by? Are there people paddling? Is there a cricket match in the background? Maybe someone's having a romantic picnic, clinking glasses. Are there children playing in the long grass or in trees nearby? So really, really think about, you could do anything. You could create some kind of fantasy soundscape or science fiction landscape or soundscape, sorry. It could be something like a sports match or a sports event. Somebody could be attending an event and being really disappointed that their team hasn't won, but how do you do that through sounds? It could be nighttime, a cityscape, somebody going out, or a club kind of, or a gig kind of thing. Really, just kind of really think about it. I mean, you can source some of these sounds, like we said, through the stock footage library, but we'd like you to record as much as possible yourselves. As long as you record at least 25% of it yourselves, you'll be fine. But you can source some stuff. But think about how you might want to have a go at creating some of these sounds yourself, creating sound effects. So I've listed, coming up with kind of a descriptive title or a theme can be really useful just to help spark your imagination. So I've just come up with a whole random bunch of suggestions, whether it's something like the intruder, a burglar, somebody intruding somewhere they shouldn't be, a match day, a night in the city, when the video game became real life. Maybe there's all kind of crazy video game sound effects you want to use and somebody getting kind of sucked into a video game. Or it might be something quite simple, more simple and outdoorsy, like a nature ramble. Maybe somebody, it's a nice walk, but you still got to incorporate a sense of story to it, so it can't just be the sound of walking for a minute and a half. Kind of have a distinctive beginning and end and events that happen. As I said, Halloween's coming up, something like a haunted house or a supernatural happening, a haunting. I don't know if anyone's seen the film Host, which has been made a kind of one of the first lockdown horror films that's been made, that's really got some really effective, not really for Soundscape as much, but just thinking about different ideas and using different technology. It's a whole horror film made within a Zoom chat, a bunch of young people having a Zoom call in which they do a seance together, and a ghost or some kind of possession happens during that, but it's all done as a Zoom call. So I think that's a really exciting and innovative use of technology in these times. So you could maybe do something about, if you think about all the different sounds and notification sounds you might get on your phone or on your computer, different forms of social media or YouTube videos, you can use clips and sound clips to create a kind of environment. So you could think about something, technical hitches, social media glitches. You could do a scientific discovery, a lucky find, a chance meeting. It could be a first date at a coffee shop, all the noises and sounds associated with that. A surfing competition in Hawaii, you could conjure up some kind of exotic location in your sounds. A terrible superhero, really anything. Just kind of be inventive with your ideas, but don't make it something you can't possibly do, obviously. But these are all just examples of things you might want to discuss. So I've got a few links here. I've included these links on Blackboard below where this video is, if you want to have a listen to some of these things. I do want to reiterate, these are not projects that have been done to the brief we're asking you to do. These are just for ideas. So we're specifically asking you to create a kind of atmosphere or environment, but also with a sense of story. So some of these might just be more environmental. But with the carnival one, have a listen to that, for example. It's a fun fair. You get the sounds of lots of different aspects of the fun fair, so you can kind of tell. And somebody's just created this with the sounds, so you can definitely tell whereabouts in the fun fair you are or what ride it is. The Woodland Walk one is quite good. It's done by the BBC. And again, the haunted house, there's lots of different aspects of the haunted house. It's creaking door, and lots of different kind of events that happen. So these are just really just to help spark some ideas for you. So basically what you need to do, start thinking now. What theme, what story do you want to tell? What do you want to do? We're going to put you into groups in the seminars. We'll send you Zoom links for seminars. That's how the seminar support sessions are going to happen, via Zoom. So think about, come to that with some kind of idea. We're going to put you into groups and get you to decide as part of your group. We'll get you to introduce yourselves to each other. And decide between you what kind of theme you would like to go for, just so that the work is shared out a little bit, so you're not having to do all the recording on your own for your project. As long as you agree on a general theme or story, you will all separately, you can all record stuff, divide it up between you, and then you will all as a group be able to use those sounds to then create your own edit from. So like I said, think creatively about it, but also within that you need to be practical. Think about what you can actually achieve. Can you actually record, I don't know, the sound of a train going past safely and practically? Or, do you need to source that some other way? Do you need to be a bit more inventive? Maybe you've got something where you do want to create a fantasy or futuristic landscape, but and you want specific sounds as part of that. Maybe divide those up between yourselves so that one person isn't having to come up with how to create all these kind of mad sounds. But you don't have to do that kind of thing. You can just do naturally sourced sounds, of course. It depends on what you fancy having a go at. So be creative, but be practical. Plan what you're going to do between you. Come up with a particular plan when we put you into group discussions in seminars. try and plan exactly what sounds you're going to be recording. Make sure everybody knows what they're doing. Share the work between you. Also share contact details. Create your own WhatsApp group so you can all keep in touch with each other. You might want to continue some kind of group contact throughout the module, so you can easily get in touch with each other. You might want to meet again outside of seminar time as well to discuss how it's going, to maybe come up with more ideas, discuss your ideas further. So make sure you share your details, and please, we do encourage you to meet up virtually outside of seminars, or even you might want to do some socially distanced recording with more than one of you there. It might not be practical just to do it with one person. So have a good think about that. We can talk to you and answer any questions in the seminar as well. And aim to start recording sounds during week 1. We want you to try and get as many sounds as you can, gather them, record them, because we want you to really start editing in the week after. You might be able to take some of what you're doing in these first couple of weeks into the next couple of weeks after that with Keith as well. This is really kind of a grounding, starting off exercise. So yeah, so aim to start recording as soon as possible, really, straight after the seminar session, if you can. I've just collated at the end of the slides here some examples, the examples I mentioned earlier. If you want to revisit these slides, there's a few extra examples. I've posted this PowerPoint on Blackboard, and there's a useful piece of reading just about if you want to frame soundscapes academically, do a bit of academic reading about soundscapes. There's quite a useful, interesting article listed here, and hopefully we'll post that as a PDF on Blackboard as well. So start having a think, come to the seminar with some ideas and ready to have a good discussion. Okay, we'll see you then.